Arvest Bank is pleased to bring you the Legend Series, where we focus on individuals who are committed to their communities, much like Arvest.
Moving forward to where you are now in your life, do you still, once a doctor, always a doctor, you don't lose the title, but you've definitely transitioned into a different phase of life where you're not known as a title in an organization. What is the adjustment moving from, it's an identity. How are you developing a new identity? Is it one that always existed in your private life, or are you developing something new?
Well, I wanted to be careful even during my years of leadership, service to the church and to the institution. I wanted to be careful that I did not see myself only in terms of a position. I didn't want my family to only see me in terms of that. And I still feel that way about it. There are people that I will encounter, some I may not have seen for some while. They will still use the same terminology and say, oh, please excuse me, but that's the way I know you. And that doesn't bother me at all. But I don't see myself only in terms of the position that I held or the organization that I was a part of. I'd like to think I'm still the same person.
And do you have advice for somebody making that transition? And is your advice to think about that 20, 30 years long before?
You certainly don't need to wake up the morning after and start thinking about that. But I had an identity apart from Evangel. I had involvement in the city that was not dependent on my being in the position that I was in. There were privileges that I had as president of Evangel, and I never took those for granted, and I certainly appreciated that. But that doesn't make me a special person just because I had those kind of privileges. And I would hope that people who know me see me as the same person I always was.
Now, we know you're still extraordinarily involved in the community. We've joked about your wife not wondering whether or not you're actually retired. What boards do you continue to serve on, and what's next? Well,
I am still involved to some extent. I'm still serving on the Council of Churches board. I am a member of the Cox Health Emeritus Board. I served for 35 years on the board of directors of Cox Health, and they had a provision made that people who had served on the board of the hospital for at least 20 years would be eligible to serve on the emeritus board. It doesn't meet as often and does not have any authority, but it's a means of staying in touch and being kept abreast of developments. And I appreciate that very much. But I'm not looking for more involvement. Actually, I'm very much aware of the fact that there are windows of opportunity when you are in a leadership role in an institution like Evangel. There are certain things that you're connected with and become involved in. And when you are out of that, things continue to move. And I stopped by the library recently to check out a book, and a young lady at the desk, when I came with the book to check it out, she said, and who are you? So I felt like that was a vote of confidence.
You actually took that as a good sign?
That's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
So you don't have to be out but a year until people are asking what your name is. But at an institution like Evangel, you have faculty and staff who've been there for a long time that you develop friendships and relationships with. But when you talk about students, next year, all things being equal, somewhere between a third or 40% of the total population will be totally new. Within 2 years, you're approaching almost 2/3 of the population was not there 2 years before. So, you know, it's change. It's not like when I left the pastorate, I could go back 5 years later, and many of the people that I served as pastor were still there. Mm-hmm. That's not the way it is on a college campus. It's changing. Next year, there will be a big change.
Like the individuals highlighted in the Legends series, Arvest Bank is committed to our community. Click on the link below to find out ways that you can engage with us to help make Springfield great.